Brian McCarthy here from Bold&Break, and I am back with another discussional video. It's been a while since I've done one, trying to kind of up my production quality a little bit because, it wasn't great beforehand. But I am back with a video today, and it's going to actually turn into a series of how to save money as a designer. It is not an easy task to do. I have found myself in financial positions that have been really difficult to maintain a career in design, especially in the earlier phase when I was doing internships and I was trying to get in as a junior. If you're in that spot, I can completely empathize with where you are. Currently, given this economic climate and all the chaos going on around us, I think this series on how to save money as a designer will be really useful to you. This first video is just going to really cover general things, how to save money in general areas. I will get into specifics more in later videos. I might even go and do some reviews on hardware and tech and where you can actually save money on very specific items, all those other areas. Let's get started in this one and give a few general tips on how to save money as a designer. Tip number one, and it's a very obvious one, and it's not always applicable to everyone given certain circumstances, but especially if you're at the start of your career, I would encourage you to use alternative or open source software. It's very cost efficient. If you're learning 3D and you have the time to learn 3D and you don't have loads of client work coming in, go learn Blender. It's free. It's as good as any other software package out there. And there are alternatives in video editing like Davinci. You can download the free one and use that commercially, which is an amazing piece of kit. Saying this, if you're a freelancer, you can't really switch software because you need to, maintain a certain amount of quality for clients, and that's not possible if you're in the transition of learning new software. But if you've got the time, definitely look at more open source tools. There's loads out there. Davinci isn't open source, but Blender is, and there's other software packages that are open source which you can take full advantage of, and I would recommend you do so. Tip number two. And this one is hard to do because it takes a little bit of discipline. If there's an item you want, or a piece of kit you want, or a plugin, or a piece of software you want, wait until sales. Sales seasons are cyclical. Black Friday, there are tons of sales out there for plugins and materials and textures and graphics and stock footage. There is a ton of sales. Even for subscription-based services, there are sales and offers on the table. For instance, with my Octane package last year, I waited until Black Friday to renew, and I get Kit Bash free every month, and I also get some render credits, and I got it at a substantial discount. So it's good to wait for the sales. Very, very important, that one. You can save yourself a ton of money. And I know it can be very tempting to just jump on the newest piece of software that's there, but trial it. That's another one. Trial the software before you buy it and make sure it's worth your time investing your money and time into this piece of software. I think as designers, we are a little bit snobby on this one, but I've done it in the past, and it really does save you a ton of money in the long run. And if you can afford the risk factor a little bit, it's definitely a good payoff. And that's buy secondhand equipment, secondhand tablets, even an office chair, something that can save you maybe 50%, 25%. If you can get over the fact that someone else has used it, buy it secondhand. Now, if you absolutely have to buy something new, and I've been in that situation myself, and I haven't been able to fork out all the money, we are very tempted to buy things on credit with interest. I would avoid this. This is not a great solution because you're paying more in the long term. You need to be making that money back, on a monthly basis to cover the costs of something on credit. What I can recommend though is sometimes some vendors, if you're buying a computer custom made, or even some, bigger brands or bigger store brands online will offer interest-free credit, 6 to 12 months. I've used and taken advantage of this offer myself, and this allows me to not overpay. And it allows me to, manage my money month to month and say, okay, I can put this much away every month, and by 12 months, I'll have this equipment paid off. Interest-free credit, I would recommend over interest credit, because interest credit can accumulate, especially given certain circumstances that we're in now, where interest rates are being raised, and you're like, oh crap, I have all this thing on credit. What do I do? Well, there's nothing you can do. You have to pay the increased interest rate. Okay, this tip is a little bit like the first one with open source, but it's more geared towards hardware. Look for alternative brands. If you're buying a headset, it doesn't need to be Beats. In fact, I would recommend against Beats. You know, it doesn't need to be, you know, the fanciest brand out there. There are budget focused headphone brands that don't do huge marketing campaigns and don't do huge advertising. And this is something I get into in future videos where I'll go through headphones, because, you know, I think headphones are grossly overpriced in the market as it is, and you can get very good studio grade headphones for under £100. That's not to say some of the bigger, more expensive brands are bad and they're kind of stealing your money. They're not. There's some very, very good headphones out there that just most of us will never afford. There are alternatives to every big brand, and that's in your personal life as well. There's an alternative to Fitbit, there's an alternative to NutriBullet, there is a cheaper alternative out there, because there are companies competing with one another and they know that they can get some of that market share. So always do your research before you buy something in your personal life or for design. There's always a cheaper alternative. Look for alternatives to the bigger brands, do a little bit of research, do a little bit of digging, you'll save yourself money. So this one is just being lazy, and I have fallen into this trap myself. Turn off auto renew. Don't forget to turn off auto renew. We're always trying new softwares, and we might sign up for 1 month. Happened to me last month. I signed up to a service that forgot to turn off auto renew. I was fuming with myself. It was only £20, but it was £20 I lost through my negligence. You have to remember to be on top of your subscriptions. There are so many out there. I'm a bit anti-subscription, even though I do subscribe to subscriptions. See what I did there? You'll be hit with a huge software bill, and you'll go to, you know, the customer team, so, oh, I didn't mean to. And in the terms and conditions it said, it doesn't matter. If it's on auto renew, we will not give you a refund. And last but not least, a super simple, obvious one, and we all do it. Don't forget to turn off your equipment, especially for the night owls, because, you know, you're very tired, you're forgetting to switch off everything. You go to bed, you wake up the next morning, you go, damn, I left my computer on. Been there 1,000 times, still happens to me, but it's a good reminder. It's a good reminder, especially with the way the world is going. Okay, so I think, you know, the tips here are pretty straightforward, pretty simple, but they're good reminders on how to save money. You might save yourself £50, £100 a month, multiply that by 12, that's a lot of money. And we forget, we get engrossed in this brand culture, and we believe just because it's branded, it's the best thing. That is not the case. Be on top of your tools, research, use critical thinking. Don't just follow the sheep. There are ways to save money, and don't be afraid just because you don't have the nice little logo that every other designer around you has, doesn't make you less of a designer. Stay tuned for more content on this topic. I'm going to try and do a bigger series, especially at the moment. I think it's vital that we start saving money. I think the design industry is fleecing us. On that note, I'm going to leave you with a self-reflective, am I spending too much as a designer? Stay tuned for more videos like this. I am looking forward to share more in the future. Like, subscribe, comment, let me know if this information is helpful, and I will look forward to sharing more videos soon. Thank you and goodbye.